Hi guys, this is Connie, and I could apologize, but instead I'll just get right into Connie Reads Another Fine Myth. Chapter 16. We did 16 already? Or, no, we did 15. I was going to say, this doesn't look like what I thought I had. Too many bookmarks. Yeah. Alright, yeah, that makes sense. I was like, I don't remember that being the ending. Alright. A quote. Anyone who uses the phrase, easy as taking candy from a baby, has never tried taking candy from a baby. By R. Hood. Can we move now? I asked. Not yet, kid. Wait until the lights have been out for a full day. You mean a full hour? Whatever. Now shut up and keep watching. We were waiting in the dead-end alley across the street from Frumpel's shop. Even though we were supposedly secure in our new disguises, I was uneasy being back in the same town where I had been hung. It's a hard feeling to describe to someone who hasn't experienced it. Then, too, it was strange being with Oz after I had gotten used to the idea of him being dead. Apparently, the neck muscles of a Purbeck are considerably stronger than those of a human. Oz had simply tensed those muscles, and they provided sufficient support to keep the noose from cutting off his air supply. As a point of information, Oz had further informed me that his scales provided better armor than most chainmail or plate armor available in this dimension. I had heard once that demons could only be destroyed by specifically constructed weapons or by burning. It seemed the old legends may have actually had some root in fact. Okay, kid, Oz whispered. I guess we waited long enough. He eased himself out of the alley and led me in a long circle around the shop, stopping again only when he had returned to our original spot by the alley. Well, what do you think, kid? Don't know. What are we looking for? Tell me again about how you plan to be a thief, Oz sighed. Look, kid, we're looking over a target, right? Right, I replied, glad to be able to argue with something, or agree with something. Okay, so how many ways in and out of that shop did you see? Just one, the one across the street there. Right, now how do you figure we're going to get into the shop? I don't know, I said honestly. Come on, kid, if there's only one way in. You mean we're just going to walk in the front door? Why not? We can see from here, the door's open. Well, if you say so, Oz. I just thought it would be harder than that. Whoa, nobody said it was going to be easy. Just because the door's open doesn't mean the door's open. I didn't quite get that, Oz. Think, kid. We're after a devil, right? He's got access to all kinds of magic and gimmicks. Now, what say you close your eyes and take another look at that door? I did as I was told. Immediately the image of a glowing cage sprang into my mind. A cage that completely enclosed the shop. He's got some kind of ward up, Oz, I informed my partner. It occurred to me that a few short weeks ago I would have held such a structure in awe. Now I accepted it as relatively normal, just another obstacle to be overcome. Describe it to me, Oz hissed. Well, it's bright, whitish purple. There's a series of bars and crossbars forming squares about a hand span across. It's just over the door. Or is it just over the door or all over the shop? All over the shop. The top's covered and the bars run right into the ground. Well, we'll just have to go through it. Listen up, kid. Time for a quick lesson. I opened my eyes and looked at the shop again. The building looked as innocent as it had been when we first circled it. It bothered me that I couldn't sense the cage's presence the way I could in our own wards. What is it, Oz? I asked uneasily. Oh, it's a ward, kind of like the ones we use, but a lot nastier. Nastier? How? Well, the kind of wards I taught you to build are an early warning system and not much else. From the sounds of it, the stuff Frumpel is using will do considerably more. Not only will it kill you, it'll knock you into pieces smaller than dust. It's called disintegration. And we're going to go through it? I asked incredulously. After you've had a quick lesson. Now remember your feather drills? How you'd wrap your mind around the feather for control? Yeah, I said, puzzled. Well, I want you to do the same thing, but without the feather. Pretend you're holding something that isn't there. Form the energies into a tube. Then what? Then you insert the tube into one of the squares in the cage and expand it. That's all? That's it. Come on now, give it a try. I closed my eyes and reached out with my mind. Choosing a square in the center of the open doorway, I inserted my mental tube and began to expand it. As it touched the bars forming the square, I experienced a tingle into a physical pressure, as if I had encountered a tangible object. Easy, kid, Oz said softly. We just want to bend the bars a bit, not break them. I expanded the tube. The bars gave way slowly until they met with the next set. Then I experienced another tingle and additional pressure. Remember, kid, once we're inside, take your time. Wait for your eyes to adjust to the dark. We don't want to tip Frumple off by stumbling around and knocking things over. I was having to strain now. The tube had reached another set of bars now, making it a total of 12 bars I was forcing outward. Have you got it yet? Oz's whisper sounded anxious. Just a second. Yes. The tube was now big enough for us to crawl through. Are you sure? Yes. Okay, lead the way, kid. I'll be right behind you. Strangely enough, I felt none of my usual doubts as I strode boldly across the street to the shop. Apparently, my confidence in my abilities was growing, for I didn't even hesitate as I began to crawl through the tube. The only bad moment I had was when I suddenly realized I was crawling on thin air about a foot off the ground. Apparently, I had set the tube a little too high, but no matter, it held. Next time, I would know better. I eased myself out of the end of the tube and stood in the shop's interior. I could hear the soft sounds of Oz's passage behind me as I waited for my eyes to adjust to the dark. Ease away from the door, kid, came Oz's whispered advice in my ear as he stood behind me. You're standing in a patch of moonlight and you can collapse the tube now. Properly notified, I shifted away from the moonlight. I was pleased to note, however, that releasing the tube did not make a significant difference in my mental energies. I was progressing to where I could do more difficult feats with less energy than when I started. I was actually starting to feel like a magician. I heard a slight noise behind me and craned my neck to look. Oz was quickly drawing the curtains over the door. I smiled grimly to myself. Good, we don't want witnesses. My eyes were nearly adjusted now. I could make out shapes and shadows in the darkness. There was a dark lump in the corner that breathed heavily. Frumple. I felt a hand on my shoulder. Oz pointed out a lamp on the table and held up 4 fingers. I nodded and started counting slowly to 4. As I reached the final number, I focused a quick flash of energy at the lamp, and its wick burst into flame, lighting the shop's interior. Oz was kneeling beside Frumple, knife in hand. Apparently, he had succeeded in finding at least some of our weapons in the dark. Frumple sat up blinking, then froze in place. Oz had the point of his knife hovering a hair's breadth from the devil's throat. Hello, Frumple, he smiled. Remember us? You, gasped the devil. You're supposed to be dead. Dead? Oz purred. How could any harm befall us with our old pal Frumple helping us blend with the citizenry? Gentlemen, our victim squealed. There seems to have been a mistake. That's right, I commented, and you made it. You don't understand, Frumple persisted. I was surprised and horrified when I heard about your deaths. Yeah, we weren't too happy about it ourselves. Later, kid. Look, Frumple, right now, we have both the ability to, and the motive to kill you, right? Right? Oz moved the knife until the point was indenting the skin on Frumple's throat. Right, the devil whispered. Okay then. Oz withdrew the knife and tucked it back into his waistband. Now let's talk business. I don't understand, Frumple stammered, rubbing his throat with one hand as if to assure himself that it was still there. What it means, Oz explained, is that we want your help more than we want revenge. Don't relax too much, though. The choice wasn't that easy. I see. Well, what can I do for you? Come on, Frumple. can honor our original deal. Or you can honor our original deal. You've got to admit, we've laid one heck of a false trail for your two fugitives. Now, it's your turn. Just restore my powers and we'll be on our way. The devil blanched, or at least he turned from red to pink. I can't do that, he exclaimed. What? The knife appeared in Oz's hand again as if by magic. Now look, you double-dealing refugee. Either you restore my powers or... You don't understand, Frumple pleaded. I won't restore your powers. I mean, I can't. I don't know what's wrong with you or how to counter it. That's why I set you up with the mob. I was afraid that if I told you before, you wouldn't believe me. I've spent too much time establishing myself here to risk being exposed by an unsatisfied customer. I'm sorry. I really am. I know you'll probably kill me, but I can't help you. Whoa. And that's the end of Chapter 15. And we'll tune in for Chapter 16 next time. Thank you for your patience. Be careful with that and enjoy, please, and thank you. And I will see you next time.